Welcome again, everyone, to The Legend of Ted, and today we are going to do a review of ARMS, which just came out last Friday at the time of this recording, and let me tell you, it caught me by surprise. And I wanted to do this review in order of the things that most worried me about the game. The first thing was the controls. So I knew that there were traditional controls on the Pro Controller, but that the main way to play the game that they were advertising was to be motion controlled by the Joy-Con. And if anybody's going to compare the Wii motion controls to the Nintendo Switch motion controls, they're completely off basis, because let me tell you, these controls are tight and they are very precise. There's no calibration issues. The game responds very well to the motion control, and the motion controls do feel natural. The first thing most of us thought when we first saw the reveal of ARMS in January was that it was just like Wii Boxing. It was just going to be this fun little game included with the console or whatever, and we had no idea the depth to which this game would dive. The game works just fine with traditional controls, but I only use that when I'm in handheld mode. I always like to use the motion controls, and I in fact prefer them. And it makes sense, because that's exactly how they designed the game, was around those motion controls, and then they had to think about, okay, how do we implement the traditional controls, because this is going to be a handheld. There are going to be people who will prefer the Pro Controller, so let's do that on the side. But it feels very natural and it feels very good, so if anyone was concerned about the controls of the game, just know that they are very well done, and in fact I myself prefer them, though I have heard that other people do not. I guess it's just a personal preference, but I do enjoy them more. The next thing I was worried about was how the game would play. In other words, is it going to have a single-player campaign? Is it going to be like Mario Kart, where there's a Grand Prix and then you can play online? And the answer is, it works just like Mario Kart 10, where there's a Grand Prix and then the bulk of the game is online. Or co-op with friends, which is also really fun. So the first thing I did was go online and see how it works, how it plays. I did get a little taste during the test punch, but I wanted to see how the full version, which was all fleshed out, would look like. And I actually love the lobby system of ARMS. It's really well done, it's fun, you can actively in real time see little icons and health bars of the other matches going on. You get set up not just in one-on-one the whole time, but sometimes you get two-on-two, sometimes you play volleyball, sometimes you play hoops. And I love that they do this, because it mixes things up, it keeps you on your toes. You're not just fighting one-on-one the entire time, though I do have one little beef with that, and it's that sometimes I don't like to do two-on-two because I get put with a partner that I don't work well with, or I don't like the three-person free-for-all, which is fine. There's actually a layer of strategy added to it, in that you don't want to just go up against the one person that you see that it sets you to, because then you'll just get bodied by the other person behind you. So it's a game of trying to dance around the other two while trying not to get hit, and what ends up happening is that you will lose if the two other people decide that, you know what, he's going out first and let's pick on him. And I hate that. I don't like it, but I do. It's kind of a weird relationship I have with it. But for the most part, the online is fantastic and I love it. The Grand Prix is actually really fun. You're just fighting CPUs the entire time. It's 10 matches to the end. And if you're at level 4 or tier 4, whatever you want to call it, up to 7, there's an additional boss at the very end that you have to fight, and you actually have to beat the level 4 Grand Prix in order to play competitively, which is actually something I have not done very much, because I always get bodied, and I just like party match because I'm more of a casual player, and I don't rage at my television set so much. But one thing I do want to say about Grand Prix is that it surprised me with how hard this game is. Because what I did was beat level 1 Grand Prix with Springman, no problem. I did it very quickly, and then I thought, okay, this is too easy. I'm just gonna... I've been playing also with Ribbon Girl, and I really liked her. So I picked her, and I did the level 4 Grand Prix, and boy, did I get my butt kicked. It is really hard. In fact, I spent way too much time on Ninjara and just raged constantly and was up, and I finally beat the level 4 Grand Prix. And boy, if you're going into this thinking that it's going to be another Nintendo game that holds your hand, that helps you out, that's really easy, it is not. Because if you want to play competitively, you have to be at least halfway decent, you have to be good enough to beat level 4 Grand Prix, and it is not an easy feat. You will spend a lot of time on that. And I do appreciate that they are adding that difficulty to their games, because a lot of their games lately have been a little too easy. As far as other things go, as far as earning arms, the depth, the strategy, there is a lot of depth, there is a lot of strategy. The currency that you earn in game, you can use to basically buy, but through a mini game, different arms for each character that aren't the original arms that they come with. And that's helpful because another layer that I really appreciated is that each fighter has their own specific ability. For example, Ribbon Girl can jump as many times as she can kind of stay in the air. So you may be able to get 3, 4, 5, or 6 jumps, depending on what level you're in, before you actually touch the ground, which means that adds another vertical layer of dodging besides just the single jump. So I really like that, and Master Mummy's just a beast. He does tons of damage, but he's slow. Ninjara can do crazy dodges, and Twintel can kind of float in the air and slow time around her. And it's just really fun to try out all the different characters and find out what they're good at, what fits your style, what arms might go better with them than their original arms. And for that reason, there are a lot of fun gameplay hours in store for ARMS that I really wasn't expecting, but was really happy with when I got the game. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the presentation, from aesthetics of the game to the music. First of all, I'll get this out of the way. The soundtrack is very catchy. It gets in your head, it stays there, and there's nothing you can do about it, which is totally fine by me. And as far as looks go, it looks great. It looks crisp, 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is really important in a fighting game. And the look is just so Nintendo. It's fun, it's bright, it's colorful. It's like the Overwatch of the fighting games. So overall, what ARMS has done is taken a gamer like myself who really isn't into fighter games, who doesn't do well at them, and who has only played games like Injustice because I really like the story and I'll play it on easy mode to get the story, and Pokken Tournament because it's Pokemon and it's a 3D battle arena, which I really like. And they have given me a game that I am spending a lot of time in because it's just so in-depth and it's fun, and it's got a meaty multiplayer, it's got good online. The local multiplayer is really fun, especially with a big group of friends where you can all make fun of each other, throwing your arms out in the air and struggling, and it's just a fun game, and I would recommend it to anyone looking for that sort of experience. Another thing to add is that I do really appreciate that they announced that they will be coming out with free DLC, including characters and maps in the future, which I really like. And while it does have its imperfections, I do think that they will come out with patches in the future, with new maps, with new characters that will continue to balance the game and provide a lot of fun entertainment for a long time. So, coming from someone who hasn't appreciated these kinds of fighting games in the past, and has been completely flipped around by the game ARMS, at this moment I'm going to go ahead and give this game an 8.8 out of 10, which is a really good score for me. And honestly, if you ask me in a month or two what that score is, I can almost guarantee you that it will probably be just a little bit higher. But for right now, it's definitely a game you should go check out, you should buy. It's really fun. It's ARMS. Thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we will catch you guys for the next video.